So these are Samsung's new 2017 Quantum Dot curved monitors. We've got the 27 and 32 inch CH711, which start from around £390 or $410. So let's find out if they're any good and if you should buy one. The 1440p resolution is the sweet spot right now for both productivity and gaming in terms of balancing sharpness and impact on performance, although you will of course have a higher pixel per inch density and therefore a slightly sharper image on the smaller 27 inch model. They're both Quad HD. And if you're a gamer, you'll be happy to hear that they've both got FreeSync built in, which synchronizes the monitor's refresh rate with the graphics card to reduce screen tearing and stuttering in games. But this adaptive sync technology also allows the monitors to reach a higher 75Hz refresh rate rather than the standard 60. But you will need an AMD graphics card to take advantage of this, which is a bit annoying if, like me, you've got an Nvidia card, so I'm stuck with 60Hz. So let's start with the design, and honestly, I think these are some of the best looking monitors on the market right now. Samsung call it a 360-degree design, which I think is just a fancy marketing term for the back doesn't look shit. And it doesn't, although I think some people may find the glossy white plastic body and stand a little bit tacky, but personally I quite like it. I think it would look smart on your desk at home or at the office. It's also got what Samsung are calling a three-sided bezel. Except for this lower chin here, the bezels are pretty much flush with the screen. I was also really impressed with the setup. It takes about 2 minutes to put together. You take the monitor out of the box, slide the screen down, push in the base stand, and tighten up the 2 screws. That's it. But once you have your monitor on the desk, what's the next thing you would normally do? Well, you'd have to find and unwrap the power and HDMI cables from the box, then reach around the back and find the right ports, plug them in, and then try and hide the cables, right? Well, Samsung have already done all this for you. Hidden under the port cover at the back and then routed through the stand, you get one cable coming out the back at the bottom. So this one cable is the HDMI, which you can then plug into your PC or your laptop, but then halfway down that cable is a splitter where you can plug in the power connector. It's pretty cool actually, and assuming you are using the HDMI port, then you don't actually have to go around the back and fiddle with the ports at all. I think it's a really neat setup, and clearly Samsung are going for simplicity and ease of use with this monitor. But it does come at a cost. Port selection is extremely limited. You only get one HDMI 1.4 and one mini DisplayPort 1.2. That's it. There's not even any USB ports or a headphone jack or even built-in speakers. Now, I don't think that's going to be a deal breaker for most people, but it is annoying and it feels a little bit like Samsung have gone for style and simplicity over function and practicality. But the other issue with the design is they're just not very flexible at all. In fact, the only thing you can do is tilt it, but that's it. There's no height or pivot or swivel or rotation adjustment. You can't even VESA mount it. But really the first thing you notice when you see these monitors for the first time is that curve. At 1800R, it's one of the steepest, is that the right word? Steepest curves you can get on a monitor at the moment, which really does give you a great wraparound feeling, especially with a larger 32-inch model, which I think suits the curve a little bit better. Now, not everyone is a fan of curved displays. I'm certainly not when it comes to TVs, but I think it's a different story with monitors, where it's usually just you sat right in front of it. So whether you're watching movies or playing games, it does genuinely feel more immersive. Although these still don't compete with curved ultra-wide monitors, which are my favorite, like the Samsung C34F791, which I reviewed a few months ago. So that's the design, but let's move on to the headline feature here, that Quantum Dot panel, and how it affects picture quality. So as this weird Samsung James Bond diamond thief type bloke is kind of demonstrating, basically what Samsung call quantum dots are very small color particles that are layered on top of each pixel when the monitor is made. This thing converts the backlight that shines through into a richer and wider color gamut, with other benefits often including high brightness and contrast. So both of these offer a matte 8-bit SVA panel, producing a maximum brightness of 300 nits, a 4 millisecond response time, and a contrast ratio of 3000 to 1, which is about 3 times more than the contrast on a typical IPS monitor, which means you get a bigger difference between the brightest whites and the darkest blacks. And then combined with the quantum dot technology, the CH711s here cover 125% of the sRGB and 84% of the Adobe RGB color spectrums. So image quality is fantastic, but while it may look more vibrant and pleasing to the eye, it's not professionally color accurate considering those Adobe RGB results, so bear that in mind if you're a designer or an artist. Now, there aren't actually any physical buttons on the monitor except for this little four-way joystick beneath the screen, which is used to navigate the on-screen display. It's got a few features like eye saver mode, which reduces the blue light, Samsung Magic Upscale, which basically just over-sharpens the picture, as well as game mode, which seems to increase the brightness. As with most monitors though, I tend to leave all that stuff off or just leave it on default settings. So the big question, should you buy either the 27 or 32-inch Samsung CH711 curved quantum dot monitor? It's quite a mouthful. The short answer is yes, I would highly recommend them. They're not ideal for me personally since I have an NVIDIA graphics card and so can't take advantage of the FreeSync or the high refresh, so that might put a few of you off. And also the limited port selection and flexibility may be a problem for some people. But aside from that, if neither of those are big deals for you, these are some of the best looking monitors you can buy, both in terms of style and picture quality. It is difficult to know whether it's the SVA panel or the quantum dot that makes the biggest difference to the quality, as the benefit of QLED on Samsung's TVs is the super high brightness, which is great for HDR and color volume, but these monitors still top out at a fairly average 300 nits and don't offer any HDR, unlike the CH711 monitor. But browsing the web, playing games and editing videos looks great, and I think the Quad HD 1440p resolution is ideal. Although if you do want 4K, Samsung also offer the CH850 monitor, which also has a 10-bit panel, but it is nearly twice the price. But between these two, in terms of size, really it comes down to personal preference. I'm used to big monitors, I kind of like them, so I would probably go for the 32-inch. But if you are on a tighter budget, or simply want a slightly sharper screen, the 27-inch is your best bet. But they're both actually pretty good value for money. So I've put links to both of these in the description below if you want to go and check those out. Let me know what you think of quantum dot and also curved monitors generally in the comments. Would you buy one? Thank you very much for watching, guys. Tap that like and subscribe buttons and also share if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time right here on the Tech Chat.